Here we go. Hey, yo, what it is and what's good, y'all? Welcome back to 280 Plus, the social media podcast where I take the conversations off the timeline and go beyond the tweets. I'm your host, Los Def, and I'm back here for episode 155. And we are back here this week solo. And if you are new to the channel, I like if you can hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button. You know what I mean, if you know anybody that would be interested in this kind of content, and then leave a comment, man, if you want to chime in to the conversation, right? So that's what we're here for. And so yeah, man, we back here solo this week. If y'all haven't already, I need y'all to go back and check out episode 154. Had a dope guest on last week, by a brother by the name of Montez Parker. He's from my hometown, out in Central PA, and he's doing some cool things, man. Like, definitely, he's an entrepreneur, and he started a security firm, and that's just something that like most people aren't necessarily thinking of. And then, so he does like physical security, but he also has branched out and he's into cybersecurity, which is hella important, especially when we talk about business, small businesses. A lot of businesses do commerce online, so like that cybersecurity is an avenue that everybody needs to probably invest in. And he's definitely trying to corner the market. Is dope that it's a black owned business. He got the family name into his business. He comes from a really big family that's pretty prominent around our parts. And yeah, I'm sure that he's doing the family proud and continuing their legacy. But yeah, go check that out if you haven't. He was my first guest that I had in a while, and just in general, man, like it. We do that. I mean, we that's still in our wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? We could still do interviews, and we could still, highlight different things that's going on, highlight different people. It's just in general, man, it just has to make sense. And then we got to be able to kind of integrate what you do, or that conversation into like what we do here on Twitty Plus. And we keeping the conversations going. We kind of reacting to current events, to trends that's on social media, and just having those conversations, because social media is still a major part of it. Is always, I think, from now for a while, it's going to be a major part of our lives. And I think, and the purpose of 280 plus is just the fact of like, let's expand these conversations, because a lot of times, you know what I mean, we get like first impressions and then we let it go, right? But then we try to dig into it. And if you notice, you know, obviously, we take some hard stances. I take some hard stances with certain things. There's certain things that I don't like, right? But what I try to do is I try to find the middle ground, because because a lot of times if it's a topic that I'm talking about, I could try to see both sides a lot of times, and then especially if it's controversial, and then trying to find that middle ground. And yeah, man, I think we're doing well. The channel's continuing to grow. If you're a nerd, if you're a little bit nerdy, if you're into Game of Thrones or fantasy stuff, if you're watching House of the Dragon, and you feel like, especially like, we talk about the black community, right? If you feel like you ain't really got nobody to talk to about, shows like House of the Dragon, and you don't got no, you the only one of your friends that watched Game of Thrones or anything that was related to that, and you feel like, I want to talk about that type of stuff, but I don't know who to talk about it with. Well, I have another podcast, or I'm a part of another podcast called Recap and Record, and we are covering House of the Dragon season two. Man, last episode 4, is their best rated episode of the series, and I thought we had a dope recap. But like we be breaking stuff down, and I think we give a lot of facts and tidbits and information that the casual viewer does not know. So, and we breaking it down into like our the way we talk, and the way we digested it. And I think it's just a fun thing. It's funny takes. Levi got a great personality. You already know me, and how I get with certain things, and we're both passionate about the show. And so we be getting it in, man. So like check that out and check out Recap and Record. Again, that's the other podcast I'm a part of, and we got 4 episodes out for this season. We this is our fourth season of that show, and we've covered our other shows, but in season one we did House of the Dragon season one. So if you are watching House of the Dragon or just trying to like again you just say you just started House of the Dragon, and then again you like, dang, I don't have nobody to talk about that with. Or if you feel like you missed something, or you just need some, go check out season one of Recap and Record. And we on there breaking it down, and that was fun. That was fun. We trying to get since we do Recap and Record on a seasonal basis. We definitely always are trying to like revamp and get our social media presence back up with that. Because sometimes it's not enough just sharing it from our own our personal platforms. So we got to build it up. But like y'all, I mean, y'all can help out and y'all can be a part of that as well. And it's a dope thing, man. So, but this week, man, we solo and summertime, man. It's hot outside, right? It's hot outside and it's in full swing. I would have to say, man, I've had a pretty dope summer. I've had some trials and tribulations though. Yeah, I mean, I had some things that's going down, but I've gone to the beach a couple times now. You know what I mean? Like I don't even remember last year. I might have went to the beach for a day or something like that, but I don't really remember taking no trips. You know what I'm saying? And I was at the beach a couple different times. This summer, I always brag and talk about Hershey Park and going there with my son with our seasons passes. And real quick on Hershey Park, real quick. This is I'm coming at ice on from the Joe Budden podcast, right? So this is me trying to get my little 5 seconds of fame, right? Yo, there was an episode a couple maybe like a month or two ago, maybe like a couple weeks ago. And they was talking about amusement parks, whatever, and they was like, yeah, some of them amusement parks, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. And I can already tell it's like they got this like New York, they always got this like New York bias, New Jersey bias, and they always look at things that is not, if it ain't in their purview, it's trash. I mean, like that's the perception that they give off. But like one of the things that they said there are some amusement parks that we kind of got to get out of here. And they mentioned Hershey Park, right? And I'm thinking like, time out, time out, time out, time out, time out, time out, time out. Hershey Park is not what it used to. Like, I don't, if you think that Hershey Park has not evolved in any way, you out of your cotton picking mind. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about roller coasters and in different amusement parks, like an amusement park is judged by the roller coasters, right? Well, Hershey Park technically has 13 roller coasters. Like, so let's stop playing. Like, there's big amusement parks that don't have 13 roller coasters and the big ones are great, right? Um, Another thing to note about Hershey, like Hershey Park, we not it's not Dorn, that's not the same as Dorney Park, right? You know what I mean, like Dorney Park might be something that you might be like, it's not all that, right? It's not Knoebels, right? So Knoebels got two roller coasters, and it's more of like a family picnic type of place, right? Williams Grove is something that used to exist that don't exist no more. There's other big amusement parks that are garbage, like Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens is trash, like. Busch Gardens is like I remember that was a big thing when I was a young boy, but Busch Gardens is weak. So don't put Hershey Park into that equation. Maybe you could say Dutch Wonderland because that's just a little kid park for kids. I would even say Sesame Place. Like let's get out, let's get. I've been to Sesame Place one time with my son when he was really young. And the problem with Sesame Place is the problem with creating a park that's just for kids is that's the problem with it. It's just for kids, right? So you can go, why do that when you can go to a amusement park that has both, right? So everybody can be entertained. So if you do happen to take a large group of people, you might have some people that take the kids, right? Or people that don't really get on rides. Maybe that's your job. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be the liaison for the kids, and then the adults can still have their fun, and then they got the full water park. Hershey Park is it's a resort, right? When you think about it, like people stay at the Hershey resorts, and they purposely sell multi-day passes because, to be honest with you, if you want the full experience of Hershey Park, you cannot, even though it's one park, you can't fully you cannot fully experience Hershey Park in one day, especially because it's big, it's popular, it's expensive in terms of like even like the walking and stuff like that. And what I learned is because I've been a season pass holder, I think this is like 5 years now, 6 years. It's definitely five. I definitely got five under the belt. What I noticed is that people come from, and this was not the case back in the day. People come from all over to go to Hershey Park, and this was not the case back in the day. Hershey Park definitely was I mean, if you was from Central PA, right? You from Dauphin County, which is like the seat of like Harrisburg. If you from Lancaster County, if you from York County, if you from, like people, those people like that's like what we call Central PA, the Susquehanna Valley, like those people would be at Hershey Park. I mean, Lebanon County and stuff like that. Those people would be the ones that frequent Hershey Park. And it was like our park, right? But then it's expanding, got so big, and like, yo, people are like they're flying in. I mean, there's an airport not that far from Hershey Park. Let's stop fronting Harrisburg International Airport, all right? You know what I'm saying? So people are flying in, people are driving in from places. When I see like the tags and stuff like that, I see Florida tags, I see North Carolina tags. I see, and I talk to people sometimes, and you could tell when people never been to Hershey Park because they looking at the map, right? So I know where everything is at, like back of my hand. Yeah, I mean, I don't need no map or nothing like that. Even if it's your first time coming with me, like or something like that. Don't get no map. I got you. Like you just, I mean, you can get the map to see the names of the rides, but I'm gonna take you on a linear path, and we're gonna have a great time. But to fully experience the park, like the water park and everything it has to offer, you got to go multiple days. So like it's not it's not some place that we could just be like, "Oh, yeah, let's get that out of here." No, cuz they spend money. They spend mad money making that place better every year, every year. And they just did a big revamp just a couple years ago. They got a big new restaurant in there. I don't I'm not gonna shit on the restaurant because I did not have a great experience the one time I went to that restaurant, but they got a lot of cool stuff going on. And there's a lot of attractions. There's even the zoo. There's a zoo part of it. There's a museum that's part of it. It's a lot, man. So don't so Ice from Joe Budden and even Joe Budden, man, like don't be coming at Hershey Park, man. Hershey Park is the sweetest place on earth, man. And but yeah, man, so summer's full swing. Couple things, man, that I've gone through. Just real quick, I don't want to get into too much of my business, but I got a new car. I got a new car. I got a new whip. New whip, who it is, right? So, but and I'm happy to have a new car. I got a 20 and I ain't flexing. I don't want to flex. I'm not flexing because I ain't this, I'm not some podcaster that's, making mad money off the platform and things like that. Like I have a regular job. Like yeah, also, yeah, I got a 9 to 5. And but I had to get a new car, unfortunately, because I totaled my car because I actually got into an accident where I rear-ended somebody. I rear-ended an old lady, and I'm gonna tell you, it was my fault. Like one, they tell you like insurance, I mean, you rear-end somebody most of the time, it's your fault. I can't even say that it was like sun in my eyes or nothing like that because I was going eastbound and it was like in the evening, so like the sun would be already starting to set to the west. So it wasn't no sun in my eyes. Like I was a distracted driver and I was looking at my phone. I was actually looking at something funny on the phone. And it was one of those situations where I just thought I had a little bit of space. You know what I'm saying? Like, like we get so used to like when we have bad habits, right? We compensate and we get so used to feeling comfortable in those bad habits. And I really thought that I had some space, right? Like I knew she was ahead of me, I knew I had time and I'm looking back, looking up, whatever. Well, this lady came to a complete stop. and this was a tight road. I shouldn't have been on my phone at all in this particular. I should You shouldn't be on your phone at all when you're driving, but like in this situation, I was being probably a little more reckless, and it was for something. It was a funny video, but it wasn't worth it. But it was just one of those things where I didn't have the phone playing through the Bluetooth, so I had it like to my ear so I could hear it, and I'm like kind of looking down. And she came to a complete stop because somebody in front of her was also stopped and they needed to turn. But like the traffic was typically moving and it's moving. So I'm assuming it was moving, and if anything, you know, get out the way or slow down at But once I look up, I'm hitting the brakes, and it was a little bit too late. And I had a feeling that they would total the car. And but I got compensated I got compensated a lot better than I thought I would for it. I got a nice penny so I could put a, nice little down payment. But yeah, I got myself a 2021 Mazda 6. So that thing is nice from the inside. I wanted to stay Team Acura, but the Mazda is nice, man. And it's fun. You know how it is too, man. Once you buy a car, you start to see a lot of people with the same car. So I'm seeing Mazdas all over the road. I wanted a Mazda 6 like years ago when had my last car, which was like 7 years ago. And so this newer one it looks good. It has all the bells and whistles, and I'm pretty happy, man. So that's definitely one of the big things that's kind of happened other than the summer stuff. My son is a big time swimmer, or he's getting big time. And it's so funny because he's reluctant at doing it sometimes because it's not. Yeah, I mean, how many black people swim competitively? Come on, like how many people do that? Probably not many, right? So it's definitely out of his comfort zone, so to speak. Like and he don't know that it's out of his comfort zone, but like just yeah, stereotypically, like that's not what we be doing. And but he's getting better. Like he's last year was his first year. This year he's getting stronger, he's getting better. My man, I'm so proud of him. He be diving off the block, like what I mean, like where they get set. When you're a little kid, they let you kind of just jump off the side, and like when you see these kids like starting to swim and stuff like that, like yeah, it be looking like they just falling into the water. You know what I'm saying? My son always been a swimmer, like he always could swim, but swimming competitively he be getting busy, and like now he's kind of mastered the dive. His dive look mad smooth out there. My man be under the water, like doing his underwater kicks and stuff like that. Be looking like, I mean, he be looking perfect, and then he get up and then he be gone. He be gone. And yeah, he's got a couple first place ribbons this summer. Part of it was like him being on a relay team, I guess him being like the third leg. That's like a good place for him. I don't like him being the anchor, and I don't like him being first. Like that because that's tough. That's a lot of pressure. So like he don't got to set the pace, but he keeps the pace going. And yeah, this the last meet that they had, like they smoked that team. So shout out to my son, man, for what he got going on, and that's what, yeah, my days be consistent of that. It's a lot of father and son time, and I can't complain. But speaking of complaining, right? So I just said I cannot complain. I cannot complain. So this week we got some videos to react to. We got some things to react to in the social media world. Uh some stuff based on just society. We got a skit that we gonna comment on. We got some stuff in the world of sports and sports commentary, right? Y'all seen it's some beef right now going on with a boxer versus some social media sports personalities. And then we talk about a movie. We're gonna talk about Bad Boys 4 a little bit, right? Because I finally got to see that, and then maybe a little bit of TV talk and reaction to that type of stuff. So fun episode. But hopefully, what I mean, y'all tune in and y'all get some out of it and enjoy the ride, man. So what I said I can't complain, right? I can't complain. And I say that a lot. I actually notice I say that a lot, right? But I really be meaning that. Like I just like I can't complain. And I like to say that like here y'all might hear me I'm opinionated and and I got stuff to say and I'll rant about something, but in general, like there's a lot of things, there are some certain things that I might complain about and I might have to vent about, but like I try not to complain too much because I always think like I always try to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? At the end of the day, I try to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I always am looking at myself relative. And you gotta run your own race, but I do look at myself relative to like other people or society, and not on no envious thing, but just on some like, be grateful, be humble about where you at. And it could be worse. Like even your bad times, like somebody else probably got it worse than you. So let's share this video. Talks about how complaining actually kind of rewires our brains in a very specific way.
It's been estimated people on average complain 15 to 30 times a day. What most people don't know is that repeated complaining for the purpose of expressing frustration or seeking sympathy can actually rewire your brain. The more you do it, the more you become likely to fixate on problems and irritations rather than dealing with them, or at least accepting what's beyond your control. While complaining might feel validating, all it really does is keep you stuck in victim mentality. Instead, try flipping the script. Next time the traffic is terrible, instead of defaulting to frustration, ask yourself, what can I listen to that'll make this time worthwhile? Is there someone I've been meaning to call? It's about shifting from a reactive stance to one where you're in control. It's been estimated.
There you go. There you go. So it's about not being reactive and trying to stay in control and realizing what you cannot control, right? And that's I think that's where for me when I say I can't complain because there are things that I just cannot control and I try not to dwell too much on that type of stuff. But yeah, traffic is definitely a trigger for me. Like that's one of those things where I'm just like, oh. And if I'm not like listening to something, like yeah, I might try to listen to something instead. Um, like that's probably the best thing to do though for me is to like listen to something like maybe it's a podcast or a certain song to get me out of that mood. It doesn't benefit me to talk to somebody because if anything I might complain to that person like, oh, I'm fucking stuck in traffic or something like that, or it makes me, if it is like really heavy traffic or something like that, it might make me fixate a little bit too much on the conversation, and then like um I might be more distracted and like kind of putting me in danger, and I've already proven to myself this summer that your boy not the best multitasker when it comes to driving, or should I be, or nor should I be, because I got stuff to kind of take care of, and I need to be careful there. So but yeah, man, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? Do you know people that just sit there and complain, right? And says we complain, the average person 15 to 30 times. So it could be the littlest things. It could be, I don't know what it could be. I think it's a lot of times it's worse if it's based off somebody that like maybe you live with. Like if you're in a relationship, if you're complaining 15 to 30 times, think about if the average person does that, right? Think about, I think we gotta be careful. Think about how many times that goes back to a spouse in terms of like what you're complaining about. Right. So I don't, what I mean, I don't live with, I don't have a living shorty or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'm a single man. So I I don't sit there and I don't have those kind of complaints or anything like that, thankfully. But like I definitely would hope that like if I was complaining 15 to 30 times that like a low percentage, really none, to be honest, like is about that partner, even though I know that's unrealistic. But yeah, man, think about that, man. And Are you, especially it says seeking sympathy and like expressing frustration and seeking sympathy? Like we got to be careful there. We got to be careful there. Like, especially like that echo chamber. I wonder if like obviously that was a woman talking. I do wonder if that's like gender specific. Like if are the numbers lower for men because there's even studies that show that men speak less than women. Like on average, like we speak a lot less words than women. Now, me, I am a talker. I probably do skew the average up a little bit for men, but I still talk a lot less than a woman does, than the average woman. So I don't know. I just wanted to know. I wonder if digging into a study like that, if there is any correlation, because I feel like a lot of times men we do there are some bitch ass niggas like there we know it. We hear guy when a man complains um you notice it. I think you notice it a little bit more. When a woman's complaining, it's kind of like, all right, you know what I mean? Like you might be able to tune it out or it's just like what it is. But like when a man is a complainer, that woe is me, like I don't like yeah, that victim mentality stuff. Like it sounds crazy when men are doing it. And a lot of times people are doing it on social media, complaining about and it be stuff that's like about relationships and things like that. And it's like I'm kind of a pull yourself by the bootstraps type of person where it's like, all right, man, you complain about this, but like on some Kevin Samuel stuff, but like, yo, look at yourself though. Like, what are you doing this, and this? And people are like, oh, but I can't do that. All right, well, there you go. That's part of your problem. You thinking that you can't do stuff. So, all right, I don't know what y'all think, man. What chime in. What do you think about that? And is that food for thought? Is it are you gonna take that and think about ways that you can flip the script a little bit? I don't know. Next thing, man. Next thing. I got another thing to react to, and this one is all right. Imagine you at a wedding, right? Imagine you're at a wedding and you hear this particular speech. I'm about to share this to the screen in a second here. Imagine you heard this speech. I wanted to hear what are your reactions to this. Now we're gonna preface this in a second here. We're gonna preface this in a second, but oh my God, what the hell was that? See, it's summertime. Bugs be like it be different kind of bugs. It wasn't what you think. Yeah, I mean, I don't got no roaches and like that, but it was definitely something with mad legs. I just saw a crawl over there. All right, let's share this screen real quick here. Now, I just want to like again, we're going to I'm gonna give the disclaimer afterwards. I'm not even gonna do the disclaimer now. I'm gonna just do that afterwards. But like, just imagine you heard this at a wedding, right? Let's make sure that we got the volume up. Okay, yeah, we got the volume up. All right, let's cook. Let's cook. Let's watch this. The most honest wedding speech ever.
To my husband. It took us 10 very long years to get here. Even your mom told me I should have been left your ass.
Did you hear that? It was like, dang. They 10 long years to get there, and then somebody was like, dang.
But I'm happy I stayed because I know that we're soulmates. We're so grateful for the love that fills up this room, and I'm so excited to start this new chapter with you. As you guys may know, a few years into our relationship, you cheated on me, and you had a baby on me. But I took baby Nyla in as if she was my own, because I know you would do the same for me.
Psych. Say nah, I was just playing. I don't know, man. If it was the opposite way around, I don't think most men is doing that. But hey, let's keep watching.
I love you, Nyla. Luke chapter 5, verses 17 says, "Forgiveness comes before healing, and I will always forgive you and always take you back. I even forgive you after the tax fraud you committed under my name. I stayed by your side through your Percocet addiction and your alcoholism and your abuse because I'm a woman of God and I saw that you needed somebody. I remember you even had your whole family jump me. Half of y'all are here, but I'm happy."
Did you? She said, but the whole. I mean, I remember even your whole family jumped me. Yeah, I mean, half of them are here. Did you hear somebody at the barrel say "stupid bitch"? Yo, that's crazy.
Be that we were all able to move past it and be in this room peacefully for me and Jamal. Today marks the beginning of our journey as a married couple, and we're truly blessed to have each and every one of you in our lives. So let's raise a glass to love, laughter, and a lifetime of unforgettable moments together. Cheers.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So if you looked at if you because you can see the screen there, if you look at the person that posted it, the account that posted it, the second comment with it basically it said hashtag it did say it was joke, right? So yes, that was definitely a skit. There's a couple giveaways to the skit. One, now you can have a wireless mic, however, but like a lot of people not dealing with that. They're not using a wireless mic. So there was no cord in the microphone. Maybe she was wearing a minimalist dress, right? But then also it was just the audacity. So like what how would you feel if if that's what you heard in a wedding speech, right? You heard a bride saying that to her husband. And granted, this is after they said I do. This is after the vows and all that. This is the reception. That's when you giving the speeches. So like what would be your reaction to something like that? Now I would be like, I would be appalled. I would be, my eyes would be open and like wide. And if you know me, like a lot of people that know me, they know how expressive I am, and I cannot hide how I feel on my face. Like I can't hide it. So like, I be saying stuff. I be like, this is some ghetto shit right here. Like this is crazy. Like how is she getting that off? Whatever. So, yeah, like talking about. I guess I want to know what are some things that you should not touch on in a wedding speech. Now, I think you can I think everything has to be very general, right? Because you got to understand there's people even though there's a lot of people that know your business in at a wedding, most people don't know your business. Like let's keep it a buck, right? If it's outside, because you invite people that are just like kind of like tertiary and like secondary into your life, like that aren't really in your life. Like it's just people that know you. Sometimes you invite coworkers and stuff like that, right? So like most people that are at weddings don't know the ins and outs of your business. Like last wedding I went to was my man Nate Fleming, right? And he got married to Donisha. And I don't know anything about their relationship. And I don't and like me and him, I'm his friend. Like we are friends. But we ain't close like that. Like I don't even ask this man about his relationship. Like I barely like I don't think I've said maybe more than a few words to his wife ever. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's the nature of going to a wedding. So like when you are giving a speech, if you've gone through tribulations, that's what you call it. You call it trials and tribulations. Like you don't start to break down and give details, right? She done talked about having this man having a baby, talked about like not only how long it took, but also like speaking to like maybe how stupid she was for like waiting so long. Talking about abuse, like that's definitely a no. You don't talk about abuse, right? Because that's one thing. Most people don't know your business, but then even the people that do know your business, like they already got their opinions, but like you don't need to like sometimes putting it on Front Street just reinforces their opinions, and then they might be vocal and play they might be the complainers that you don't even need to hear, because that's another thing. That video we talk about people complaining. Imagine if like imagine if you talk to a complainer, like, or if a complainer is your best friend and they're the ones giving you the advice, right? They're only gonna fixate on the negative things. If they are a natural complainer like that, they're only gonna fixate on the negative things. And so, like every conversation that you have with them, like your spouse is the ops, whether it's your wife or it's your husband, right, or whatever. I mean, your spouse is then the ops to your friend or your cousin or whoever you are confiding in, and that's just not a way to go. So yeah, definitely keep it general. Uh, don't talk about don't get into like deep thought processes, right? To where people can kind of like see a chink in the armor, so to speak. You gotta keep it real general and out, and you gotta keep it positive. Like that, there was really nothing positive about that speech, like at all. Like sure you could say, "Oh, I did this because I love you," right? But even though you did this, I still love you. Like that's not positive at that point. Like that it cancels it. Even if it's like I still love you, even if that's positive, it kind of cancels each other out because you just dropped a bomb that like ain't nobody know about, nor should they know about, and you saying it like it's public information. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. I thought it was wild. I knew it was fake from the rip, and then also it was just it was the people like the way they commented, like, "Oh, shut up," like calling her a B word and saying all type of stuff. So, that was wild. That was wild. That was wild. But moving on. What we got next? What we got next? Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's get into this. Now I don't have a video to share with you with this, all right, but like so right now in the sports world, and matter of fact, let me make sure I add this other topic too. Um in the sports world, right, we got Shakur Stevenson, and he got upset. He got upset because on Mace and Cameron's sports podcast, they basically, Mace, his premise was that he just basically said that I'm not really looking forward to seeing Shakur fight anybody. Like I don't really want to, I really don't want to see him. Like he basically called him boring. He said he's not exciting and things like that, right? And so Shakur Stevenson, right? He goes on, and it was like did this go on for like it went on for like maybe 2 different days, I believe, but um it definitely went on for a long time and hours. Definitely hours. Initially it was definitely hours. And Shakur Stevenson was he did not like it. He did not like it. Now this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. And so he didn't like it, right? So yeah, let's just give you the background. So he didn't like it. So then he goes on to talk about Mace, right? And he says that Mace, he said how his response was like, how you gonna talk about me? And he was getting it talking about their podcast a little bit. And he said that how you gonna talk about me, somebody with a failed rap career? How do you have the audacity, have the nerve to talk about me and my career when you had a failed rap career, right? And then he went on to like kind of discredit the show and said that the podcast is boring, and he said that uh, they don't have anything on Gillian Wallow's podcast, $1 million Worth of Game, and they are really the pulse of the streets. Like that's the one, that's the podcast for the streets, so to speak. And so that's the premise of what was going on. And this is what I say is this. One, first things first, there is strength in silence, right? So I know we live in a world where we have empowered each other to speak, right? When you have something to say, speak about it, right? Speak your voice. Don't let your voice be hidden, right? So and yes, there's always a place for that. But there's also strength in silence, right? Because if we and I'm gonna reverse it here, but like when we look at back in the day and things like that, like you didn't there were like Muhammad Ali would be a good example. Now he wasn't just a boxer, like Muhammad Ali had world impact, right? And like he was getting into politics and things like that, there was a lot of things going on during like Muhammad Ali's reign. So like he had like beef with the media, so to speak, or the media would go against him and challenge his thoughts and things like that, right? So I'm not gonna make it seem like there's never athletes that shouldn't say what they got to say to the media. But I'm saying by a larger part, like a lot of times athletes they didn't you didn't see that too often where they had like these it wasn't often where they had these spats, these verbal spats with media platforms and things like that. On the flip side though, on the flip side, is that um we didn't have social media back then, and I'm sure that many athletes, there's many athletes, and we got a lot of controversial athletes even back in the day. It's not like everybody just today is not necessarily controversial just because they have social media. But back in the day, there definitely was probably be some boxers or athletes of any type that would have a lot to say if they had a phone in, if they had a cell phone in their hands with access to social media, and they could send off their thoughts right off the bat. Like there would be a lot of that if that existed back then. Like if social media was around way back, you definitely would have athletes to fight back and fire back. So I don't want to make it just about like, oh, athletes back in the day, they didn't do this. Well, they couldn't do it, and there's many that would do it, right? If given the chance. If you wanted to say something to the media, a press conference had to be held. So like they had to that was like an event in itself. So like, they got to get the media personnel to come in. They got to find a venue to do it, right? They usually have like scripted or prepared notes or speech to talk about, a press release of some sort to talk about. So um, that's what would happen back in the day. So you didn't have athletes that had like immediate access to rant about any media that is criticizing them. But there is strength in silence though, like because there would be times where I'm sure like there like just say if we're talking about a boxer like and he's getting all type of criticism, um and probably wanted to do a press conference, or the next time that he's like in front of a camera, like he could have something to say. But there would be a lot of athletes that would just kind of, they would just, what they did was instead of criticizing back, right, or trying to discredit back, they would let their performance do the talking. So it makes no sense to talk about Mace and Cameron and try to talk about their rap careers, um when you could just prove them wrong by just being better or being more exciting or whatever it is, right? So that's another thing there. Now, let's get into what Shakur said though. So he couldn't be more wrong. He couldn't be more wrong. And I just think like Shakur Stevenson, you 27 years old. So you 9 years younger than me. So I'm just thinking like Cameron and Mace. So Mace, like 97 is really when he gets. I was 9 years old, right? So you weren't even born yet when Mace was like on at the forefront, right? When he was basically after Biggie dies, and when it comes to like Bad Boy and all that, it becomes Mace. Like it's the Mace show for about 2 years, right? For about 2 years. Now, Mace, that's the thing. Mace didn't have a failed rap career. Mace left on his own terms. He left because the business, he seen what the business was, right? And what it all stood for. And then he went a drastic route, and he didn't just leave the game, he went and became a pastor, so to speak, right? So to say Mace arguably, like a lot of people put him up there like could compete with somebody like Jay-Z. People looked at him like in again, rap New York is the mecca of rap, and in the 90s, especially when he comes out, like he was one of the better rappers back then. Like even if you weren't too familiar with his music, to say he had a failed rap career when he was a multi-platinum artist is wrong. And just because he's not rapping, or just because you didn't get a chance to hear him rap and enjoy his music, that doesn't mean his career was failed. Leaving on your own terms is different than flopping your way out of it. He didn't flop his way out of the industry. That's a failed rap career to me. If like you get no if you get a chance and you get no run, you know what I'm saying? That's a failed rap career versus somebody that is on top of the world, or like, seeing major success and decides to walk away. That's not failed rap career. And then if you're talking about Cameron, it's even more disrespectful to come at Cameron because Cameron also is a multi-platinum recording artist. And again, this is a time when you had to buy music. This is a time when people had to get up out of their seats and spend money on music. And even that's a foreign concept nowadays, right? People don't want to spend anything for music. They think it's free. The little $10 a month that they pay Spotify, that don't hurt their pockets, or Apple Play, that don't hurt their pockets. So it doesn't feel like they're paying for anything. But this is a different time, and both and both are iconic, right? Yeah, we throw the word goat around casually sometimes, right? But they both were iconic, and definitely not only just for Harlem, not only for New York, but like they had impact, right? So to say that is like weird. And then he gonna say, I seen another tweet or something like that. He was like, "Oh, Pac is the GOAT. Pac is the GOAT." Like these guys were just around. Like how y'all saying that he had a successful career? He ain't Pac. What are we talking about here? And then we could flip that and say, "Nigga, you not Floyd Mayweather. You not Muhammad Ali. You not Pernell Whitaker. You not Roy Jones Jr. You not Oscar De La Hoya. You not even Felix Trinidad, my brother. You not Julio Cesar Chavez. You not Marvin Hagler. You're not Tommy Hearns. You're not Mike Tyson. Like, what are we saying here, bro? Like, you not. Who are you? Who are you, Shakur Stevenson? And that's just on that aspect of it, because it's like you put yourself. Don't alienate yourself. Like, it's one thing to you can. I think that's an opportunity for you to be like, oh, what y'all say? And like how about y'all bring me on the show and then like have a dialogue, like be a man about it and like have a face to face. But like you and your feelings and you getting emotional about somebody's opinion about you, not saying that you can't stand up for yourself, right? But like that's another thing. They didn't discredit your career. They didn't discredit your skill. They didn't discredit you as a boxer. All they said was like it's not exciting to watch your fights, right? And that's the thing. You done opened up a can because then Cameron went on and was basically like, yeah, like we talking about excitement. Like it's a very subjective thing that they were talking about. It's not even something that again, we're not talking about tactics and techniques and skill or power. Like we're not talking about none of that type of stuff. We're talking about excitement. And and that's the thing. Boxing is still about money. It's still about being able to put people in seats. And if you are not a big draw, if you are not a big draw, you are not gonna get the fights that you want. Like you're never gonna fight Tank Davis if you can't. If he looks at your career and he sees that you don't sell out arenas and you can't get butts in the seats, Tank Davis has no incentive to want to fight you, right? Or anybody else, right? So that's what they're saying. They're saying, and a lot of people tout Shakur Stevenson's defense and they try to compare it to Floyd Mayweather, but that's the thing. Floyd was was really good defensively. It wasn't until later in his career where you stop seeing him knock people out and it was just about his defense. But like when he was a young boy, yeah, like Floyd was stretching people, you know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson, I think he does need a shot. So we can like he does need a shot and we need to see him against the bigger names, but like you got to be able to create your own buzz to where if you are the main event, like you can sell out the show, right? And some of it is your style, some of it is about your style and how you fight. And obviously you can't change the way you fight based off of the opinions of of a podcaster, right? You can't do that. However, you do when you are fighting, and even the pre-fight, right? Even the lead up to the fight, you have to do things that generate buzz, that generate eyes, that generate people to gravitate towards what you're doing, to where you are getting bigger fights, you are getting bigger promotion. Now, I did see that he was open to signing with Mayweather Promotions. Maybe that is what you need. You need something. You need a batter in your back or something like that. You need somebody that's gonna do the legwork for you because maybe that's not your strong suit, right? And maybe you're not a personality, but you gotta do something. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of corny, man, like to take it so personally, especially when they weren't talking about like the meat and potatoes. Like they weren't talking about you as a boxer. They were just talking about you as an entertainer. Because at the end of the day, boxing is entertainment. And the way you fight just doesn't entertain them. And that's completely subjective because the next person, right? Maybe you ask Max Kellerman, right, who big in boxing, maybe he thinks you're amazing and he does think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And you're exciting, right? So I mean, that's a completely subjective type of argument. And it's not one that you need to be getting into, and not one that you need to be ranting about for a long period of time, right? Because you look sensitive, you look weak, and you even talking about fighting these guys. You talking about like, oh yeah, because you ain't gonna do nothing, and I'll straight like, and that's where it's like, come on, bruh. And that's another thing too, just in general. I'm tired of the people that say like, "Oh, if you never played or you never did this, you can't talk about sports." When journalists, because that's what this is. A lot of times when we talk about sports and stuff like that, we're talking about journalism here, and like that is a skill in itself too. So like, all the former athletes shouldn't be like being a commentator or reporter or journalist in sports should not require you to be a professional in the sport, right? All professional athletes don't retire and become sports journalists, and that's not the lane either because they don't necessarily have that skill. These are people that learned a certain craft, learn how to write in a certain way that's captivating, that's exciting, and that got you watching. Just because a former athlete is on the screen, don't make me go. Make they're not. That's not gonna make me watch them. But like if there's a good sports journalist that knows that has knowledge, has a good knowledge base and is very descriptive and knows how to talk, yeah, we're gonna gravitate towards that and like read or listen or watch what they got going on as opposed to just anybody. So like I just don't like that either, like where people just discredit the media automatically because they don't have professional experience in that particular sport. And you can't just gatekeep like that and be like, oh no, you can't talk about it because there would be no Muhammad. There would be these athletes in general would not be as big as they are if it wasn't for sports media, right? Sports media is what helps. It helps get these sports on the forefront. It helps get people to watch these sports, right? You hear somebody's take, then you want to see them prove. Maybe Skip Bayless says something crazy, well, then you watch LeBron play, for example, or I mean, so like even as a fan and you supporting your team, you feel like you're shutting up Skip Bayless, right? Now, granted, after he says his rant, that's in the back of your head. You're not thinking about that, but subconsciously, that's where it's like that's part of it. It's like, oh, y'all, because what happens after any game, right? That's the first thing we talk about. It's like, oh yeah, the media was saying this and this and this, but yeah, what did my team did this and that though instead. So it's like we do rely on them and like we just can't get keep. And I just thought about that. But let your performance do the talking. Stop trying to over talk for yourself and overcompensate because you make yourself a lot of times look weaker than what you really are. Let's move on. Let's move on. All right, and let's see. Do we got Okay. All right. We got another clip to share, and then we're gonna kind of get ready to start wrapping this up. Because one other topic. Now, did y'all see? So summertime is a lot of shows and things like that, and the summer seasons of shows are a little bit different. A lot of times, big networks they play around and they'll have like certain, I would say, specials, right? They have certain episodes. Um of things, and this might even go on normally, but I don't really watch this. I don't really watch like network television. But so they have Celebrity Family Feud, right? And so Megan Thee Stallion, I don't know who she was going against. Again, I don't watch ABC, I don't watch Family Feud. But she was on Family Feud, and a couple of her responses and a couple of things that went down definitely went viral, and definitely people were talking about. So let's watch this first clip.
Name something that might be curvy.
Me. Oh,
Hey, name something that might be curvy. She said me. What did the survey say? No lies told.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what.
can I say that?
Yes, you might as well. Name something that might be curvy.
You might as well. You might as well. So that was fun. That was a fun response. And yeah, Meg, I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't be hating on Meg. I don't really care for her music. But yeah, when I do get a chance to see her on the screen, I'm always impressed. I'm always, man, she is nice. Like you can't front about that. But this that was harmless, you know what I'm saying? But like definitely probably got Steve Harvey's blood rush in there a little bit. And but this was the one that people were a little bit upset about. So let's see what they talk about here. What does the survey say here?
Name something you've done to your mate's feet. Megan.
Massage.
Massage. Pass or play?
Play.
We're gonna play. Let's go. Something you.
Now, all right. Now, I don't know if this is just the internet being sensitive, right? Or was ABC trying to pull a fast one, right? So the question was, what is something that you've done to your mate's feet? So fans, like a lot of fans have been really vocal. I'm seeing it on Twitter, seeing it on X, whatever, and they're like, "Oh, ABC, y'all think y'all slick? Y'all think y'all slick? Y'all think y'all think y'all we wasn't gonna catch that?" And basically talking about because we know what happened to Meg Thee Stallion and her feet, right? Now, it didn't say like I'm sure it would be more controversial if somebody's answer like was, "Oh, I shot the foot" or something like that, or I shoot their feet, right? That would definitely be controversial, or whatever. But the question itself, I don't want to give a big corporation the benefit of the doubt necessarily. I don't want to say like, oh, you never know what they probably, this is what I say. I think maybe they had a more controversial survey says or whatever, right? I don't, and typically I don't think they know. I don't think Steve Harvey knows what he's about to see. I don't think typically he knows what he's gonna see. I don't think they were trying to be malicious, but I definitely think they were trying to get y'all, me, everybody else that has a podcast. They definitely were trying to get us to talk about it, right? Because what are we doing right now? We talking about it, right? It stood out. It's something that even though it is a benign question in a sense, the context makes us think about it like, was there an ulterior motive there, right? Were they trying to be slick? Were they trying to get her to be emotional and stuff? And here's the thing, she gave a good answer. She said massage, like, and she didn't think about it because here's the thing. I don't think Meg Thee Stallion is constantly thinking about that. The alleged, well, I guess he's convicted, so we don't have to say alleged anymore. But the attacker or the person that was convicted of the crime is behind bars. So it ain't like she's out here nervous and maybe she does have some trauma. I don't want to minimize that, but I don't think she's sitting here dwelling on it and like worrying about that. Even when they were saying that Eminem, like he he made like a play on words and he said, defeat, or like can I get the feat like, and it was supposed to be like feature, but they were like, oh, like Megan Thee Stallion's gonna come at him now. Eminem is just like he used to do that all the time. He used to always press people's buttons and like say controversial things. He don't really do that no, like you don't see him doing that as much anymore. Or if even if he does do it, we don't really listen to his music enough for it to matter. But like since he did use Megan Thee Stallion as a reference, it does make you feel like, oh, was he coming at her? Was he, like what's the play on words? I don't, and that's the thing. I think sometimes the internet is a little bit too hypersensitive to certain things. But again, we don't want to put stuff past people because I think everybody wants to be the first one to catch a corporation doing something they ain't supposed to be doing, saying something they ain't supposed to be saying. I think everybody's like hyper vigilant and they wanna be the first one to talk about and chime in on something like that. So, but I don't know. I wonder who Megan Thee Stallion and her family or whatever that consists of. I wonder who they were going up against, and hopefully Megan Thee Stallion's team won, man. So shout out to them. And let's move on, man. So last major topic, and then we might have time for like a small topic here. Last major topic. I think that is most yeah, we'll keep it to that. We'll keep it to this. All right, bad boys, bad boys, bad boys. What you want, what you want, what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, Bad Boys 4. Now, this was a couple weeks ago. I talked about the movie premiering and it breaking it meeting its budget, right? Like it in the first weekend it met its budget. Now, I had somebody in one of my comment section trying to parse words with me and was like basically like, no, well, actually, um, they didn't meet their budget because it doesn't account for marketing and things like that. But I'm thinking like a lot of times marketing is a part of the budget. So like why wouldn't it be accounted for, right? But anyway, we were celebrating Will Smith just for a second, and in the release of this movie, and then the fact that like if they at least broke even in the very first weekend, that means that every weekend after that it's icing on the cake. Yo, Bad Boys 4 been out for like 5 weeks, right? Like it might be 5 weeks now, 5 weekends. And Bad Boys 4, I'm gonna just tell y'all right now, that is a must-see movie. That's a must-see movie. Like, yo, that is one of the best times I've had watching a movie in the theater in a while, right? Like it's one of the best experiences I've had in a while. It was fun. It was action packed. It was funny. And then Will and Martin did their thing. Like Will Smith is the GOAT, man. He is a superstar, movie star GOAT, right? He can literally do anything like on the screen. He can do anything on the screen, and one, he's gonna draw people to the theaters, but also he's gonna do a good job like at everything that he does, right? And although it does feel like Martin's career, like we don't hear about Martin Lawrence no more, right? Um, I think even before this, I think the last time we heard about him really was Bad Boys 3, right? Which came out just only a couple years ago. It wasn't even that long ago. But even though it does feel like Martin's career is kind of dead in the water, so to speak. But you can see that like that's what makes Will so great is that he has a like him and Martin, even though this is what we know them for, like these four different movies, he has a way of like sharing the screen in a way and like kind of bringing out the best in Martin Lawrence. And Martin, he did his thing, man. Martin was hilarious in that movie the whole time. Like, and it brought you, I mean, brings you back to the older movies. Now, the Bad Boys movies, a lot of people argue that Bad Boys 2 is the best Bad Boys. Bad Boys 3 was good. I remember it being good, but I only saw it one time. This one was really good, and I only seen it one time. And then the first one is a classic, right? Like that, we all remember that one. So I don't know where to rank them quite yet. But it does make me want to go back and rewatch some, even though, like I said, most of the Bad Boys movies, I think yeah, all of them I've only seen one time. So it makes me want to kind of go back and see it. But like, no, the plot was great. I thought it was pretty layered. Nice callback. They bring what's his name? Um the son back, right? Will Smith has a son in the third movie, and just that whole plot. I thought the casting was amazing, man. They got the boy, Dr. McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy, or he's also the dad from Euphoria. He was like the main villain. They had the girl that plays Kim Wexler from Better Call Saul. She had like a pretty pivotal role, and I was like, oh, look at her acting like Kim Wexler. Who the Joyner Lucas? There was a Joyner Lucas cameo in there. Even though I don't typically like Tiffany Haddish. I thought her little 5 minutes was great. I think she did a good job, and like I believe that role. Like she played that role really well, even though it was a short role. And yeah, man, y'all gotta go. Like while it's still I would say while it's still in the theaters, push to go see that, man. Like I'm hoping like they would keep that around at least till the end of July. But like, yo, if you haven't seen it and it's still in the theaters, go see it in the theater. It's worth it. It is a must see. It's definitely one of my favorite movies of 2024. And again, for all those reasons, we don't even the action comedy doesn't as a genre doesn't even really exist anymore. Like we don't even see the action comedy like that, and we're seeing that like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, nobody does it better than them per se, right? So great job, great job. Lot of dope scenes in that, man. A lot of dope scenes. There's a scene. No, I don't even want to give. No, I'm not gonna give it away. But a lot of dope scenes, a lot of dope camera work. Felt believe. For the most part, I say felt believable in terms of the action. It was crazy, man. It was a good movie, man. So y'all gotta go see that. Y'all got. But what you think about this week, man? What you think about just some of the commentary, some of the things that we talking about? We talked about that wedding skit. We talked about positivity, and just and not complaining, the importance of not complaining. I mean, talk about Shakur Stevenson, who is looking like a big time complainer right now. Like what was Steve Harvey and Family Feud and the people at ABC? Were they trying to pull a fast one on Meg Thee Stallion, or was it all in good fun? And is everybody just complaining? Complainers. I got yeah, my episode will be about something about complaining. Complainers can't be choosers. Complaining. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But yo, man, if you're still watching, I need you to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share the content, leave a comment. And it's your boy Los Def, and this was episode 155 of the 280 Plus podcast, y'all. I'm out. Peace.